So some time ago, somebody made a comment here on my YouTube channel about Genius Bank. And it was honestly the first time I heard of this organization. And at the time, I didn't know what to say, right? Somebody asked me, like, what do you think about him? And it's like, I don't know. I haven't looked into them. But today we're going to go and dive deep into this organization. And there's a few things that really caught my attention and that were shocking to me when I first learned them. And so I want to share everything with you, the best features, the pros, the cons, and whether or not is for you. Now, with that being said, we're going to go right into what Genius Banks is and what it offers and what its roots actually are. Now, Genius Bank, it's an online organization, online bank that as a bank itself was originally started in California in Los Angeles, beautiful part of the United States, by the way. I love Los Angeles. I love visiting. I don't know if I want to live there. Taxes are too high and there's a lot of things going on, but it's a nice place to visit. That's for sure. So it was established back in 2023, but it's not a brand new organization when it comes to the overall roots in the financial space because it is associated with SMBC Manu Bank, which has roots in Japan dating all the way back to 1962. Now, this organization goes even deeper because it goes way back in history, dating back like 400 years. But all you got to know here is that it does offer nowadays savings and personal loans. And so far, at least for me, it passed the vibe when it comes to, hey, where is this organization coming from? Are they trying to scam me? No, like Genius Bank seems to be pretty legit. And I like so far what I'm learning. Now, with this being said, here's, of course, what may have caught your eye, and that is the above 4% interest rate, which now in 2025, going into 2026, it's actually pretty high, right? So we're going to go more into these details as we go forward. Now, before we go into everything else, here's what to look for when it comes to a high yield savings account. Of course, we're talking about the competitive APY, no fees, relatively fast transfers in the ATM network, and of course, also the insurance, which gives us peace of mind. And at the end of the day, the warm and fuzzy feeling of confidence, trust, and familiarity. Now, with that being said, if you don't know anything about me, by the way, my name is Alex. My wife and I paid off over $200,000 in debt a few years ago, and we've been building financial security ever since. And I've been going over these financial tools and analysis. So if you find this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in any of the products I'll be discussing in today's video, then make sure they sign up with the links in the description. Now, let's go into what may have caught your attention first, right? Once you look up best high yield savings accounts out there, you may have noticed Genius Bank somewhere and you saw 4%. And you're like, wait, what? Like, that's pretty high nowadays in November, December 2025. And it is high because a lot of the competition and all the competitors out there, they're offering between 3.5, 4. Some out there are going above 4. But because the interest rates are being lowered, the Federal Reserve is making moves, lowering interest rates, which is great for loans and mortgages, but not so much for savings, right? So right now, all of that to say 4% is actually really good. And they don't have an opening account bonus, however. And that's something that you may or may not want to take advantage of whenever you are signing up with an organization. So certainly it's something that I would find an incentive and just a nice to have or just a little extra cash whenever I'm looking for another organization out there. Now, we're going to get into other alternatives here later on if you are looking for bonuses. When it comes to FDIC insurance, before we get there, they do offer it up to $250,000 per account per owner. That is very much standard. Do not ever consider an organization that is not FDIC insured. And no minimum deposit, no monthly fees. So far, it passes all the big check marks, right, when it comes to high yield savings accounts. But what are the cons? What are the things that we can improve? How about the access, the withdrawals? And those are all the details we got to know here in a second. So a couple of other features here from the website itself. And when it comes to your account access and putting money in and taking money out, so you can certainly access your account for Genius online through either the application, like the web application, the website, or they also have a mobile app. Now, when it comes to making deposits, they do allow you to have regular bank transfers, direct deposits. You can, of course, also mail checks, which it's actually a service that is being offered not as frequently as it used to, right? Like before, checks were everywhere. Now, there's some organizations that I've noticed that don't offer check mailing anymore. They just allow you to do the mobile check deposit. But regardless whether you're old school or not, they still have that option for you. Now, if you're somebody that wants to transfer hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you are in that position, then Genius allows you to transfer up to $250,000 if you start from your Genius account. That is, the transaction has to start through your Genius account, and you'll be able to transfer that much. Now, on the other hand, however, if you are somebody that wants to make a withdrawal, the only way that you can take your money out and you can access your money, that is to a regular bank-to-bank transfer. Now, this is actually something that surprised me, and it's not the only bank that does this. And you can transfer up to $50,000. And again, the transaction has to start from Genius Bank itself. Now, if you're somebody that needs money right away, if you're somebody that wants to transfer money within a couple of hours, then you may be limited in that case, because the only ways that you can transfer your money is through bank-to-bank transfers, which takes about 1 to 2 business days, as I mentioned down here. They don't provide wire transfers or ATM access, so that can be a con depending on how soon and how frequently, of course, you need your money. That's just something to be aware of. To me, it's not really a deal breaker if you really like this organization. Now, here's a couple of screenshots on elaborating a little bit more on the claims that I'm making here in this video and the features I'm highlighting. I just wanted to include them here for reference, of course. Now, with that being said, the withdrawal frequency allowed per month for this organization, it is unlimited, which is really good. Some banks out there limit you to 6 withdrawals per month, sometimes 10 withdrawals per month. It's really going to depend. And if you go above certain limits for some of the banks out there, they may close your account. You may run into some issues, especially if you do it repeatedly. So the fact that they allow you to have unlimited withdrawals from your high yield savings, then it's certainly a good option in my personal opinion. Now, what are other websites doing or saying out there about this organization? NerdWallet for savings gives it a 4.5, Bankrate a 4.7. So overall, a 4.6 out of 5, which is actually pretty good for savings, right? So not bad. And of course, they also provide customer service available. So here is the screenshot from NerdWallet and their assessment on savings. And then, of course, also Bankrate on how much they give it for savings. Now, let's put everything in perspective and identify, okay, overall, now that we talked about all the basics, what are the pros and cons that I've identified as somebody who has been analyzing these accounts and best financial tools out there over the last couple of years at this point? Now, we got a 4.05, which is actually a really good incentive. There's no minimum deposit, the monthly fees, the FDIC insurance, all of that is standard so far. And it is a division of a bank with a long history in the financial space. So that gives me at least the warm and fuzzy feeling of trust, confidence, and maybe not so much familiarity, but at least trust and confidence, because it is associated with an organization that has been in business for a while, right? So that means they're serious about it. Now, when it comes to cons, that no ATM access could be a con, depending if I'm looking to transfer money or if I want my money right away, like within a day, that could be a little bit problematic. There's also no branch access, but this right here is very typical with online organizations that provide especially high yield savings accounts. So I know that these are going to be very much subjective and based on what you're looking for, but these are the things that I personally identified. At the end of the day, my friends, remember that every financial organization has good and bad reviews. But the key is to identify what is relevant to you, how recent the reviews are, and whether or not you want to choose them anyway. There is no perfect organization. Now, would I recommend Genius Bank to my mom, right? So I would recommend Genius Bank to my mom if she's looking for an uber high APY nowadays, right? Towards the end of 2025, going to 2026. Maybe she's a little old school. She wants to start mailing checks again. And like, she just feels like that's just how she wants to run her business. Or maybe she just feels like also giving a new kid on the block a chance, right? Sometimes, hey, I feel like trying new organizations, new banks. Now, one thing that I'm going to say here about this organization is like, as I was going to the website and doing research to share here with you guys, one thing that I really liked was there was some emphasis on psychology and mental health related to personal finance. I like that personally, right? So I thought that was really cool. It's honestly the first bank that I noticed, at least that it was front and center on their website when I went through it. So that was kind of cool. I like that a lot. Now, I would recommend this organization to my mom, not because it's bad. Like, all I know from overall reviews and research that I've done is actually there's nothing bad to say about it. It's not like they're going to steal your money, like they're going to like scam you. But I would recommend it if my mom is looking for a bonus, right? So if mom's looking for a bonus of $300 or maybe a little around that, if mom's looking for a bonus of $300 or so, a couple of options that come to mind are SoFi, CIT, and a couple of other organizations for which I'm going to link down below in the description of the video if you want to learn more. Also, if my mom's looking for branch access, obviously this is an online organization, or maybe she just wants to look for something that is a little bit more popular, she wants to be a little more familiar with an organization, then of course, then this would not be the top option, right? So of course, that is going to be very much subjective. And so is Genius for you? I would love to know. If you want to learn more about my personal top high yield savings account, there's going to be a link in the description. And if you want a step-by-step process to build financial security, establish your short-term emergency, midterm savings, and wealth building in 1 hour or less, then make sure that you check out the 1 hour wealth plan. I'm going to link it in the description of this video as well. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you guys on the next one.